Well, Wisconsin's tough voter ID law is on trial right now in federal court in Milwaukee. The trial actually started yesterday. Civil rights groups sued over the law passed in 2011 after a 77-year-old woman could not provide the documents necessary to receive the driver's license she needs in order to vote. The case also includes a challenge from the American Civil Liberties Union, which says besides the elderly, minorities, students, and low-income voters are disproportionately impacted by this. Now, the outcome of the trial could affect similar voter ID laws in more than half a dozen other states. And joining me by phone, Democratic Wisconsin State Senator Lena Taylor, who's fought against the law before it was passed. Thank you so much for your time.
It is such a pleasure to be with you, and I tell you, my chief of staff, you are his favorite MSNBC host, so he made sure that we made this happen.
I am speechless. Thank you very much. But to this issue of this trial here, some of the testimony of the daughter of 77-year-old Betty Jones, one of the plaintiffs, testified yesterday in her words, quote, "I cannot express the amount of time, energy, and frustration it required to get a license for her mother to vote." And that is some of what we're hearing, and what you've said all along as well are the obstacles that you believe are being put in front of people who want to vote.
Correct. And the thing is my Republican colleagues have seen the errors in many ways of their actions. They're trying to fix the issue related to students. Even the Government Accountability Board, had to backtrack on its position related to the effect that this law would have on students. We haven't even touched the effect that it had on our veterans. I mean, they give their lives, for us to have the freedom to be able to vote and have a democracy. And for us to then not allow their veteran IDs to work is truly unacceptable. And of course, our elderly. So this law is a reflection of the same kind of thing that I think that the judge in Indiana stated about the voter ID law there.
Now, the Wisconsin Assistant Attorney General Clayton Kowalski, who is defending the law in court, said that voter fraud is real, that it is not a myth. Your reaction to that?
That's completely ludicrous. He knows as well as I do, and every time that it's been stated in this state that there is no evidence, zero evidence of widespread voter fraud. The type of incidents that we've had have only been incidents that, ironically, the law doesn't address, which are someone who was in another state, and then the other was felons, individuals who are on probation or parole who might then still be voting because their rights are restored after probation and parole. So this is really only about politics. It is not about clean elections, because our elections have had such a minimal, I can't even remember the percentages, so far less than 1% of fraud that it is ridiculous. Most voters have an ID card, but the issue is for those that do not, and the imposition that it puts on them, as well as we have poll workers, who don't have adequate training always, and they're having difficulties using this identification to verify.
Well, the trial is expected to last 2 weeks. The Wisconsin law remains on hold. The governor, Scott Walker, signed it, of course, in 2011, and he's told reporters he believes the law will be found constitutional and that people can easily get free IDs from the state. So, again, we'll update our audience. Thank you so much for joining us.
December 17th, just so you know, Tamara, we also have the state case going on, so there are several different pieces to fighting this law.
All right, we greatly appreciate it, and tell your chief of staff thank you for getting you on our show. We appreciate it.